Hello, and welcome to the DOcast. The DOcast is a series of interviews from amazing people who are doing the unthinkable in the entrepreneur or health and fitness communities, with topics on how they got started to where they're going and how you can do the same. My name is Richard Hanley. I have a background in marketing and advertising. I just launched a new food company called Hanley's Foods and a blog at richardhanleyjr.com where I try to document all my experiences. With that, I'd like to bring up our sponsor, Hanley's Foods, Louisiana-inspired natural fresh foods. This all-natural salad dressing is handcrafted right here in Louisiana with portions of the proceed going to 1% for the planet, which can benefit Louisiana's coastline. You got to try this stuff. It's just delicious. You can pick up a bottle in Baton Rouge at Calanger's, Calvin's, Our Daily Bread, or Ralph's, or order it online at hanleysfoods.com. And right now you can use the coupon code, put in the word DOcast, just DOcast, to get up to 25% your next order. So with that, we are looking for sponsors for the show. However, it needs to be something that I personally would stand behind, not just useless crap that I don't believe in. So if you'd like to learn more about being a sponsor, just check out the website and drop us a line at thedocast.net. Today I'm joined with a rising entrepreneur in South Louisiana, a guy who knows exactly how to bring a viable business to market. He is the founder of Sense, a hub where entrepreneurs can pitch their ideas in Baton Rouge, VP of an online marketing firm called BlueReach, CEO and co-founder of Yellow Jacket, the first consumer-grade stun gun iPhone case, in which they raised over $100,000 from a crowdsourcing campaign on Indiegogo. And the best part, he's only 23 years old. Right now, we're at his new office in TenBR, a co-working hub for startup companies, to talk about how he got started. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Mr. Sean Simone.
Thanks, Richard. Excited to do the DOcast.
Right on. Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
So take me back, where'd you grow up?
I was born in Metairie, Louisiana, so I've been in South Louisiana my whole life. And when I was 5, I almost got hit by a car. My mom said, "Oh, that's it. We're moving to the North Shore where everything's perfect." So grew up in Mandeville, Louisiana, and went to high school at Fontainebleau High and played some football over there and really just enjoyed myself growing up in Mandeville. And found my way to Baton Rouge via the top scholarship. Went to LSU. Got a full ride. I guess thank you, Patrick F. Taylor. I think it was who funded that. But did the whole LSU thing and joined a marketing fraternity my freshman year, Pi Sigma Epsilon. Immediately got involved in a leadership position, and started meeting people that way, and realized that I liked not just the school component of school, but the people component, meeting people, the extracurricular activities. And so I was able to, hang on by a thread to my academic, hopes and finish college. But through that, I started Sense and joined these groups
So just by a way of meeting people and bouncing ideas off each other. And how did take me back with Sense? How did that start?
Yeah, so I joined that marketing fraternity, and one of our alumni members I met was a guy named Michael Trufant. And came to Michael, and I said, "Hey, man, there's got to be a way for business owners, for entrepreneurs to pitch ideas and get money, even if it's like $500 or $1,000 to get their business plan going." And he said, "Sean, that's a perfect idea. We need that, but don't focus so much on the money. Build the tribe." And he gave me a book by Seth Godin called Tribes, and that's how Sense got started. And I know you read Seth Godin, so you know about that stuff. It's you want to it's attracting people, not promoting.
Community.
So we built a community. It started off with our first event. 25 people showed up from different, very different industries. I remember I was out flyering cars on campus and doing whatever I could just to get people there, hitting my friends up. And the very next month, we had our first pitch night, on LSU campus. And then that was in August, September of 2009. And then we had about 50 people show up, and then we kind of went on a road show, took it to Southern's campus and BRCC's campus and downtown, and we really said, hey, we're here.
The hub of Louisiana.
Yeah, the whole South Louisiana thing, and so that's kind of how we got going.
Yeah, and now tell me a little bit about the last one. I mean, you had Todd Graves, like the last one, it was at the LaBerge. I mean, it's
Right.
like the real deal Shark Tank. I mean,
Right.
we had 5 sharks up there, a live studio audience. You know, they had their story, their dreams, their pitch, and then the investment. And so tell us about that turn up because it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, so that was our 15th pitch night. So we've come a long way. You know, we've been able to see the good, bad, and the ugly, and you know, we know how to do a good pitch night now. And so Rolf McAllister said, hey, this is the second year of Baton Rouge Entrepreneur Week. I can get y'all the sharks if y'all can host the event and get the entrepreneurs and pull it off. And we said, Rolf, we'll make it happen. And so we were on the stage with Ken Jacobs, Wampold, Kevin Kuhig, and Todd Graves, some of the biggest names in the city and the region. And these guys each had committed to put up $25,000, $30,000 for that night. And they each ended up, putting up over 50, double or triple what they. So it was very exciting. We had 380 people there. You know, our biggest pitch night before that was 250. So we almost doubled. Not almost. We did a lot more, and it was a big night for Baton Rouge.
It looked great. You know, like I said, it was at the prime of a new casino starting. Really professional, well done videos about the entrepreneurs and their stories.
Right.
The whole package was well done.
We tried to basically resemble the show. So we literally sat down, the Sense board and programming committee, and we watched Shark Tank and said, okay, this is what they do. They play the video, so that way you don't have to do the whole pitch, and then they walk out. So that's what we did, and then we made it. We added the energy and the pressure. By making them walk up the middle aisle, right? And so you kind of add a little showmanship to it. And so that's what we call pitch night. It's edutainment. It's education and it's entertainment. And that's how people learn. If you just say, hey, everyone come to this lecture, then who's going to show up? Not me. Right. But if you say, hey, come to this show, and by the way, you can learn some stuff. That's how we feel we're really growing, rising the tide here in Baton Rouge through those type of events and also our socials.
And I think that's great, man. That's showing just you're not afraid to just get out there and do something, to kick the can a little bit, make some noise in the industry, test it and see what happens. I mean, what was the first one like? Were you just scared no one was going to show up, but like your mom and a few friends? How did you, because I know one thing is from my experiences, whenever you do something bold, it's scary.
Right.
And, how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been someone to question authority and ask why things aren't the way they are. So it wasn't so much fear of failure that's driven me, but really achievement. It's really how can I push myself to achieve. And, I think sitting back after that brew pitch night in November was, I was able to sit back and say, wow, we've built something. So, that's what I work for. I don't work to avoid fear. I work to get achievement, and that's kind of what drives me. And so, that very first
work to achieve it. That's great.
Yeah, that very first pitch night, that's what drives. It's not the money. It's not, different things. It's achievement. I want to be able to say, hey, I accomplished this. That might be selfish, but hey, at the end of the day, I know what drives me, and I'm able to talk about it.
You don't want to look back at 7 years old saying, man, I wish I would have done that.
Exactly.
I wish I would have done this.
So, so I was able. So our first pitch night, there was about 50 people there. We didn't know what we were doing. I think you look back now. I don't think any of those companies are still existing today. There were, it was 2 technology startups and a alcohol startup, and so, but the pitches were okay. There was one good one, 2 bad ones, but I think that's what people realized after that first pitch night was, wow, we need to really do this more often. This needs to become more commonplace. People need to do better, and so that's what it accomplished. Is it opened up a need. And then who else, but better than a college kid, an ambitious kid to build it from scratch. No one else wanted to get their hands dirty early on. Now that they see it's successful, it's like, okay, we want to be a part of this. But it kind of takes those people early on in my founding board members that helped me and circled around me and said, hey, there is a need here, and let's do this. We're not going to get paid any money. We're not going to get a lot of fame or whatever you want, but the city needs this, and 10 years from now, no one, everyone will look back and say, wow, that's kind of when it started.
Yeah, it all came down, and that's really a great point, just trying to get out there and see what happens, just do it. So real quick with BlueReach, tell me a little bit about that. That's another company that you started. It's an online marketing and advertising firm. Y'all even do little think tanks, which I think is cool, or what's it called?
Focus groups.
Focus groups, right, for products. And is that something kind of like a ad agency for entrepreneurs? What is that?
Yeah, so BlueReach was started basically about a year directly after Sense. So I was a junior. I had started Sense as a sophomore, started BlueReach as a junior at LSU.
Okay, so all while you're still in school.
All while I'm still in school. And my grades show that, I didn't have I didn't have straight A's by any means.
You go to school to learn what you really want to do.
Right. And that's really what it did. That's what my mom helped me realize is, hey, you wouldn't have met these people. You wouldn't have been given these opportunities, because a lot of these free networking events and all these, it's because I was an LSU student, because I was in school to achieve something, and I was educating myself. Then people give you opportunities. But if I had just been some guy, then maybe I wouldn't have had these opportunities. So that's why I encourage people to do school. It's the opportunities you meet through that. But BlueReach, I started with a guy named Ryan McLaughlin, and a month or two later, we brought on Trevor Reeves. Now, really, I'll tell you the quick story how we got started is we said, man, I don't want to wait tables. I don't want to do this. And Ryan goes, well, hey, I can build basic websites. I did it in high school, and I sold my company, and I was like, wow, man, that's pretty cool. He had some sports website. So I had a stack of business cards because I'd been going to these sales and marketing networking events. So I just started going down the list. Hey, you need a website? Hey, I'm Sean. I'm an LSU student. You need a website? I like to use that credibility. Hey, I'm an LSU student. People, at least in this town, listen to you for 40 seconds instead of 10. And so sure enough, we got a guy running for state senate, and we built his website for $750. And now we won't touch anything unless it's at least a couple $1,000. It's got to make sense.
Good project.
But so we did that first website for $750, and it got going. And
plus, I gave you a lot of exposure too. And was that kind of like the big website where everyone's like, wow.
Well, it wasn't a huge exposure. It's just the fact that we started. We started, and then from there we probably did about 15 websites over a couple of years, but really that opened the door for consulting. So I was already consulting Qdoba Mexican Grill. Basically, I'd consult them on their Twitter and social media and Hootsuite, and then they'd pay me in food. And so again,
it's always a good trade.
I was willing to,
especially going through college.
Exactly, I wasn't complaining about it, and I was willing to. Again, I think it was just my willingness to do stuff and not necessarily worry about the money. And then so then we had a little portfolio, a little bit here, a little bit there, and we kind of piecemealed it together. Then, my business partner, Trevor, started really focusing on search engine optimization. And we got good at SEO and started optimizing websites and high-level social media consulting. And, right now we're even working on the employee, guidelines and crew member guidelines for Raising Cane's, helping them implement a strategy for social media. We've worked with the Baton Rouge airport to teach their staff how to monitor Twitter and social media. To them, it was a scary obstacle. They didn't really know how to manage it. How do we have 300 Facebook fans, we got 4 different pages. How do we, we really help people, we solve their problems through online.
And I think that's so important because, nowadays, traditional marketing is, and I come from an advertising background, that's kind of hard for me to say this, but traditional marketing and advertising is dead. It's only left for the guys with the big, deep pockets, Coca-Cola, the Kellogg's, Procter & Gamble of the world, that can afford to have the outdoor campaigns and the TVs and all the traditional media, and where they're not focusing a lot of money on is just their time to see their brand, talk to their customers, and interact with them through social media. So I think that's cool how you saw that as something that was, hey, this is something that I see that business can profit from. Let me see if I can do that with other companies.
It was a very easy transition for us. We wanted to be business owners. It allowed us to do that. B, allowed us to create an income for ourselves, and we didn't have to rely on, we didn't have to work for anybody else. Now, I did do a stint at Cell Control as a marketing intern, and I learned a lot from that. But we worked for ourselves, and then C, we learned marketing through doing it. I had taken a couple marketing classes at LSU. I had great professors, but let's face it, you really learn marketing from doing it. And so now that I'm with Yellow Jacket, what I've learned in working on other clients' problems through BlueReach, I can now do myself. And so that's really what it was about. And and we knew kind of going in, hey, we're not going to run this boutique online agency forever. We'll both move on to better things, bigger things. But this it lasted, it got us to where we are now. So I'm running Yellow Jacket.
And you learned so much about it.
Yeah, I mean, my business
Like you
partner,
said,
he got hired on to run the SEO for 50-person. They're hiring like crazy. He's running all the SEO there. So I mean, it both allowed us. Ryan, our third business partner, he moved to Austin. He got a job at a company. So it's like all of us have awesome jobs.
I'm graduating.
And we're all graduated. We're all either running the business or managing it, and it's like.
Oh, I mean, graduating from like a marketing level where you just come almost a master of it, where you just can just move on to the next thing.
Exactly. Now I don't have to go hire an ad agency for Yellow Jacket because I have all of that knowledge.
And I think that's so important for a lot of business and entrepreneurs out there that are just trying to kick the can about their industry and let their name be heard in the market. Don't go waste money, get a loan and hire a PR firm. Do it yourself. It's so expensive nowadays, like you said, to just watch what's being talked on Twitter. Anyone talking about iPhone cases, and you could search that on the Twitter feed and just say, I'm looking for a best iPhone case, and then you can start cross-referencing different things. Or me with salad. Hey, I wonder what salad to eat tonight. I'm like, hey, have you tried this? I'll send you a bottle. Try it out. So there's just new and innovative ways that you can, market yourself with, little to no cost.
Well, no conversation is too small. Is how we look at it. And so, if somebody is talking about self-defense or cases or anything on Twitter or online, that's an opportunity for us. Right. And then, really our marketing strategy has been to, get these in the hands of influential people. And then let it spread from there. I mean, we don't have to, like you said, we don't have to get billboards and TV ads and all this stuff. I mean, if you have a good product and you put it in the hands of the right people, then the right people will hear about it. And so we've really gotten to everywhere. We've gotten to where we're at today with almost no marketing budget. I mean, maybe a couple $1,000. Yeah. And so I'm proud to say that.
And that's what was that on, like AdWords or?
I mean, literally just when we launched Indiegogo, it was literally through that platform that we got the acclaim that we needed.
Through the Twitter platform?
Through Indiegogo.
Through their platform.
It's a website you upload a video to. So right. we made a video that told our story about how Seth got robbed at gunpoint and then how we came up with this concept. In that video.
Okay, so this is Yellow Jacket. Could you just tell me? So this is the iPhone, the first. Correct me if I'm wrong. Right, it's the first commercial consumer grade stun gun case.
First iPhone stun gun case. First smartphone stun gun case. So there's a couple pepper spray cases out there. We feel like ours is
like a cheap phone.
Right. We feel like ours is superior, and then there's also a fake phone looking stun gun, but this is convenient on so many levels, and the market's definitely responded to that, and we launched that through Indiegogo. We paid Loop Theory Studios to make a video for us with the money that we had won at the LSU Student Incubator Venture Challenge.
Oh, that's cool. So Venture Challenge, what's that something where you could just through LSU, just something that you could put an idea out to get funded, and for what reason, or they'll just give it to you?
Well, there was about 30 or 40 companies submitted to the LSU Venture Challenge. That's run by the LSU Student Incubator by Jennifer Fowler, and we ended up making the finals. And then 4 companies pitched. Yellow Jacket was able to get $5,500 from that. So there was a total of, I think, $20,000 on the table. And you submit your business plan through a website called liveplan.com, and then if you get picked, then you have to go pitch in front of a live judging panel, live audience, and that's what we did. And then we took that money, and we had our prototype at that point, and.
So in your business plan, was it to go through Indiegogo?
Our business plan, our focus was to raise capital in traditional methods, but if that didn't work out, then
this is your plan B.
It was go to crowdfunding. And so when we weren't able to find an angel investor to believe in us that early on, there might have been too much risk associated with it or whatever it is, we said, hey, we'll do this ourselves. And it turned out that crowdfunding was the perfect platform because people saw our vision. People from around the world embraced that vision and said, hey, there is a need for this product. And so that launched us, and because of that campaign, we were picked up organically from CNN, Mashable, Forbes, Guardian, Huffington Post, PC World, Bloomberg, the biggest, news agencies. And so we didn't spend money to get on those agencies. I mean, we put out one press release. We worked with Manuel Valencia in town. He helped us do a focus group. He helped us do a press release, kind of the basic stuff, and it got picked up. And so that's when I say that, hey, we didn't have a big marketing budget. We really didn't. It was $1,000, $2,000. And then because of the nature of the product and because people believed in it, it got picked up.
Yeah, that's amazing. Just putting it out there and seeing and then letting it. Well, something like that is pretty cool. I'm sure it's
it's controversial.
Right.
And the controversy created hype, created buzz. People were like, "Is this real?" or "This can't be," or "Is this safe?" All those questions that were kind of unanswered. That was what created the hype.
I was one of those guys. I was at there before I even knew who you were or what you were doing. I saw you as pitching it on your own pitch night, and I saw Jared Loftus was one of the sharks. I remember asking the question, what's your sales and how many people have shocked themselves or something like that.
Right.
And so not knowing how new this was, I just saw it as a cool thing, but that, and then you were trying to raise money at that point to bring it to market, or was it for your video? What was the goal there?
So we had just raised the money from LSU Venture Challenge. Then we pitched at Pitch Night in May, and so I believe there we were still trying to raise our initial funds to get it prototyped or to get it manufactured. And after that Pitch Night, when we weren't able to find capital within 30 days, we went ahead and pressed the button on our Indiegogo campaign, on our crowdfunding campaign. So we participated in Pitch Night to get feedback and to really show people what we were doing, and also just
it's great exposure.
Yeah, share it with the community.
News was out, so it's a good way to get it out. So crowdsourcing, this is an area that I wanted to talk to you about because y'all have had a successful crowdsourcing campaign. Y'all have raised over $100,000 through Indiegogo. Is there a reason why you chose to go with Indiegogo versus Kickstarter?
We were basically forced to. Kickstarter doesn't allow weapons, so we'd actually went with Kickstarter first because it was more well known. We felt like we get more traction, and we said, oh, they don't allow weapons. So we had gotten all the way to the last part of it and submitted our video, and we went to get approval, and they said, hey, we can't do it. So we went with Indiegogo, and it ended up working out in our favor. They were lesser known at that point, but they're pretty well known now, and I think the commission, they have what you call flexible funding, and so even if you don't hit your goal, say if we would have hit 99,000, we would have still gotten it, but they would have taken a higher percentage. With Kickstarter, if you don't hit your goal, you don't get it. And
so if your goal is $100,000 and you get 99, they say tough.
Right. So it's tough, So there's kind of that reassurance the whole time, but we also hit our goal. So.
And tell me how exciting that was, man, because there was a point where I remember checking on it. Because I saw you guys from the pitch tonight, I was just checking on it. Hey, I wonder how this company's doing. And I think it was like 10 days left of the month, and y'all only had like $13,000.
Right.
So it just took off at the end. What was that?
Yeah, I think it was after Mike Elgin from Cult of Mac picked it up, and this guy has a huge following on Google Plus and kind of the tech community. And we were doing some stuff kind of virally to spread it on social media, but he picked it up, and then the next day Mashable picked it up.
Oh, wow. And that was within that 10 days or left?
No, there was a couple weeks left, but it was a 45-day campaign. But they picked it up, and then it jumped from like 13 to 30. We're like, okay, that's a big jump. And then I actually went out of town to Haiti, and I was on a mission trip, and I was kind of wondering about it while I was gone. I get back, and it had jumped from like 30 to 50, and so I mean it was just
damn.
It kept
all you had to do was just leave the company, leave the U.S. Just leave it alone.
You gotta get out of here sometime. It's gotta go, get out of town, and I'm sure that's what my employees and people say. Hey, just get out of here.
Keep going. Go back to China.
And yeah, I mean we saw it jumping, and it was exciting times. I remember that night when we were at about 97. And I called the
night before?
Yeah, well, the night of. We had a couple hours left. We were at 97,000 or something, 95. And I called
Mom, everyone you
yeah,
can.
I called our distributor Billy Pennington out of Arkansas and said, "Hey man, get us over the bar, you know." And I said, "You're our distributor. Let's distribute, you know." And so he bought 5,000 worth of product and kind of put us over, and then we ended up around 103, something like that. So.
Wow, so a successful campaign. That's very impressive and inspiring because, me as a startup company myself, I'm looking at options to grow. And I'm looking at all the options to grow, and crowdsourcing is definitely one that has caught my attention because it's, just a modern way of funding. Banks are dying, people aren't getting loans, money's hard to get by, angel investors, it's always a hit or miss, or they might want too much, or what the thing is. But so that's something that I'm really looking at too. So that's really interesting to see.
Yeah, I encourage people to definitely explore it for their startup concept. Obviously, it works good with gadgets because we were able to send these people an actual product based on their contribution. So it's essentially a pre-sale. There's also film. I
think that's the most important part is that video.
Yeah,
and y'all did a great video. Who did that, by the way?
That was Max Zogby over at Loop Theory Studios. He's actually working on our second video right now. So that'll be live in about around the first week of March. So we're really excited to showcase that new video. It's more of a promotional commercial for the product, for the iPhone 4 model. And he just did an incredible job. He has an incredible way of seeing things, of the storyline, of the angles and lighting, and just the overall feel. He does a great job, and it's not too commercialized or too cheesy. It's very natural and organic. And that's why I believe we succeeded. We were able to communicate that story. And during our campaign, over 250,000 people saw that video within 45 days.
Wow.
So we were excited about that. So yeah, I encourage you to have a good team, a good media team. And like I said, depending on the project, crowdfunding might not be for you. If you have a product, an actual gadget you can give people at the end of the road, that'll help. But if it's just a nonprofit cause or a feel-good cause or
service of any kind,
yeah, I mean, it may be successful if it catches on, but you really have to figure out what is your perk, how are you going to reward people for contributing, and why should they be a part of this? What is the why?
Yeah, exactly. And in your case, it was to bring it to market, to pay for manufacturing, to get into a distributor, to build it in a sense.
Yeah, and well, we really, because of the story that happened with Seth, the robbery, we were really able to talk about, hey, this happens to 1.3 million Americans. 1 in 9 women will experience this at some point in their life. Hey, there's been over 70 armed violent crimes on LSU's campus, our college, in the last 3 years. So we really cater to the fact that there is violent crime on the rise in America, and that we can all relate with that. And we're all smartphone owners, and so when we intersected those two dots, I think that's what made sense.
No pun on words.
Made sense, yeah.
So, is there a way that maybe we can hear it over the audio, just the noise itself,
I'm sure the
little sound candy.
This. So I'm flipping down our protective electrode cap. I'm going to turn the safety off and press the button.
Quite loud. I'm sure some guys like jogging and just
I'm sure they
brought him to his
that,
knees.
Yeah. And then it also charges the phone. So I'll flip that switch on the bottom.
That is really cool. Yeah.
And boom.
And I felt it over there when I was talking to your assistant, Emily. What's her name?
Alex. Yep.
Alex. And it feels real solid. It looks real good. It's not too bulky. I thought it was going to be a little bit bulkier, but it's not as thick as it looks, I guess.
Yeah, I got to give it to Seth and our product team, and they really worked hard on that. And then we even have some more surprises for the iPhone 5 model, continuing to make it even better.
Right on. How did you come up with the name, Yellow Jacket?
Yeah, I mean, we were one night. I think Seth had came to me and said, he was coming up. What about like the cobra or the scorpion or the wasp? And he's coming up with names of animals. And I said, well, Yellow Jacket. It stings, and it's also a jacket for your phone. Yeah, and it just stuck. And we actually have our first yellow jackets, actual yellow cases on the way. So they'll actually it's a yellow case. And so we're excited to actually have that actual play.
I saw that. I saw that. It was Yellow Jacket, and I love the packaging. By the way, the packaging is a honeycomb shape, so it just kind of all ties in together.
Right.
So that's really cool. It's
go.
a great overall design. Hats off to that. It's really nice. If you could, what would you say would be one of the biggest mistake you see new rising entrepreneurs making?
I think that's a great question. I think it's not having mentors, people in place to we're talking about mistakes, right? So the fact that is you don't know when you make a mistake. You don't know, hey, I'm working on this business. This might not be the right business for me, but I don't have anybody to tell me whether or not that's the case. So I think you have to surround yourself with older people. Hey, sometimes it's boring. Sometimes you don't want to hear it, but at the end of the day, you have to have people around you saying that, hey, you're going down the wrong path, or hey, you messed up here, or hey, have you looked at this opportunity, and being able to change course on that. I think a big problem we have in South Louisiana is that people pursue ideas for years and years, to the grave. It's like, hey, if it doesn't make sense, let's pursue something else here. The ability to realize that something isn't going to work and pivot and change.
Right.
And so I think that's one of the biggest things I'd like to see people do is be more accountable, surround themselves with more mentors and advisors.
Yeah, and get out, go to the events, go to different meetups, see what's happening.
And take criticism, take feedback, not personally, but as a welcome opportunity to accelerate their success.
Yeah. So yeah, man. Let me ask you, outside the office, being caught up in all this Yellow Jacket and entrepreneurial business, what do you like to do for fun, man? What gets you out and about besides hanging out in Haiti?
That's great, man. Yeah. I like to go to Haiti every summer and help on mission trips. I love that stuff. But just on a daily basis, I love reading. I just love reading, man. And whether it's Harvard Business Review on business strategy, or reading spiritual books, or the Bible on spiritual, or leadership books from John Maxwell, or marketing strategy from Seth Godin, or one of my mentors, Manny, subscribed me to Fast Company, so I read that magazine. So I really love educating myself and just enhancing myself and being able to really just be above the crowd and understanding things and looking at things. And it's because I spend time educating myself. So recently have a mentor in physical fitness, so Chris Zavala with Body by Vi. So I've been trying to get in shape. Been going to the gym and working out. So trying to make that a new habit. Because I've been so focused on business for the last few years, trying to get back to my high school football.
I hear you, man. And there's a balance, believe me, because I've had I lost about 50 pounds at one point, and it was just from really getting into hard just running. Like I would get out and I would just start running. And there was a point in time where I had all the stuff. I was like the perfect geek runner. I had the iPhone with all the measurements and the analytics and the tracking. So I had all the stuff. Yeah, the shoes would talk to the phone, and the headphones on my tunes. And I don't know. There's this one time I was in Florida where I left everything behind. I just had my shorts, no shoes, no shirt, no iPhone, nothing. And I went the furthest distance I've ever gone. At that point, it was about 13 miles, almost a half a marathon. And it was just the most rewarding run, and it was just the best run I've ever had. And since then, I treat my runs as meditation. I'll go out to the lakes and I just won't bring anything but a pair of shoes, go on a nice sunny day and just go on a nice slow run, tell myself I got all day. And I have some of the best thoughts and the best ideas from doing things like that. I just think it's there's a connection when you just kind of get out and push your body, and just a way to relieve stress and just set the endorphins. And I think it's all a perfect balance.
Man, it's all about balance, and that's what I'm learning. I realized that I'm 23, about to be 24. I got the business thing figured out. I got a long time to launch companies, and I will continue to do that. But I didn't really know how to live. And over the last 12 months. Different mentors of mine, my family, myself, have come to realizations that I need to learn how to cook better. I need to learn how to work out, how to, just balance. And so that's just as important as what I do in the office, because if I'm tired, if I'm cranky or
not
not
give it 100%.
Right, then the office work is affected. So I might spend less time, I might not spend 12 hours in the office anymore, but the time I do spend, I feel is more valuable, and it's more focused on relationships. And then going back to what you're just talking about, I mean, I honestly believe that the spiritual side of everything is the most important. What is your purpose on earth? What is the why? I feel like business is my vehicle to affect people's lives, to lead people, to influence millions, if not billions of people. I feel strongly that's why I take business serious. Where a lot of people just like, oh yeah, that's my business, that's my job. No, this is my
your
life.
life.
And so I just listened to an audiobook recently. A guy in town named Terry Simmons had told me to listen to it. He's an entrepreneur, called Super Rich by Russell Simmons. And at first I thought it was just kind of about, he talks about, Run DMC and kind of how he got Def Jams and all that stuff, how that got started. But then the second half of the audiobook is about meditation. It's about the yogis and about like all this Hindu stuff. My background's Christianity, but it really opened me up to other ways of thinking, meditating and it's just interesting, to really know what else is out there and that you alone are responsible for your own peace and your own purpose.
Right. Yeah, that's extremely important, because there's so many times where you're just overwhelmed, There's been many days where I'm just in front of the screen all day long, and I just need to turn it off and just sit in silence for a couple minutes is just, you could feel your brain saying, oh my God, thank you, you give me a break from all this. So it's, like you said, it's all about coming back to a balance of mind, body,
music,
and business.
I love electronic dance music, Avicii, Cascade, Nicky Romero, Tiesto.
Skrillex.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, so not so much the dubstep, the kind of dark sound, but I like more of the female vocals and electronic dance music. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss Ultra. I wanted to go see Swedish House Mafia's last show together, but we'll be in China. So I guess, oh shucks.
What you going to China for?
We're going to visit our factories and stuff out there. So
checking on them.
I'm excited. Yeah, go form some relationships.
You trying to learn Chinese, or is there like a translator you're bringing?
I just brought Rosetta Stone, but to learn Spanish, because one of my good friends is from Venezuela, and there's just Hispanic population is just growing, and I think that's a huge market for me to tap into. My grandma's Cuban, and so I've always embraced that side. So I'm learning Spanish, but yeah, in China, I think we'll just have a translator.
Yeah, they're easier. I think they have an app for that, probably.
Is there an app for that? Yeah.
I don't know. Speak. Hey, take me to your boss, and
hold up the iPhone to them.
Start speaking out. That would be pretty cool.
That's great, man.
So tell me, man, what's next for you? How can people contact you? My phone's always ringing. My email's always. At least 3 people a day on average hit me up. Sean, I have an idea. Can you help me? And cool.
And 90% of the time, I help people for free. Sometimes it's when I really see a project. Someone. Well,
just as a side note, you helped me out. I came to you just kind of actually. Just to kind of tell you about what I had going on, and you took it as a part of, like almost like an incubator. You brought me in with the guys, and I wish I would record that conversation because you gave me more resources than I could probably ever.
15 people to go.
I think I got maybe about 3 of that. But anywho, that's just great that you do that, man. People are starting to go to you and see you as a leader, as building a business. So
no, I appreciate it. I think really that and that's what's gotten me here. So I can't ever forget that. When I start saying, "Oh God, man, I don't feel like helping this person," I realize, man, that's what got me here. That's why people. That's why I am influential, is because I have always had that open door policy. Now it's just learning to balance that, when to say no, when to charge, for consulting. But right now, man, there's definitely a lot of people, that they've seen, wow, these guys launched a hardware. I have inventions ideas too. So I could maybe see, me and Seth launching a hardware type of incubator to help people with inventions. We want to get a 3D printer, and Seth's learning a lot more.
I'm really glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
This is just my thing. At the beginning there was the manufacturing revolution, and then there was the farming revolution. No, farming, then manufacturing, and then like information revolution.
That's right.
And now I think it's the making revolution.
The makers.
The makers. Have you seen the book, The Maker? I think it's called.
I haven't. No.
It's a bestseller. I definitely gotta check it out. I think it's just called Our Makers. And it's like the book is just like a picture of duct tape with the word maker on it. And it's about just a new revolution of how these 3D printers are coming out, and how now you don't have to go manufacture everything in China. You could, design it right here in this baby AutoCAD easy to do thing and print it out yourself, print out your prototypes. So it's just interesting to see that there's this new era coming along.
Yeah, this is the era of democracy, and not just in politics, but in business. There's a lot of stuff going on right now about gun control and this and that. Well, you got people making their own guns. Would we have ever thought that? So the ability to give, that type of power to the common person is going to be pretty strong. It's gonna be a fundamental shift in the way things happen. We want to use it for good. We want to help people make inventions and make products, and then eventually, what if build a manufacturing base back here in the States. Our goal is to manufacture overseas until we're in a position where we have capital, and then we can make our own decisions and build our own factories. We had to get started somehow, but we're very patriotic. We believe in America, and I think we can eventually get manufacturing going here in the United States.
Yeah, if it can be done, it's something that you're going to try.
Yeah.
Wonderful, man. Hey, well, thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate you being on the show, man.
Thank you. I'm excited about the DOcast. I'm excited to be one of the first guys on here with Jay Ducote. That's great company. And Richard, I know you're going far. I have a bottle of your dressing at home, and I've told my whole family about it, man. I think that's just a start for you. I think that's just one thing of many. So I'm excited for us to know each other at this young age and see where we're at in 20, 30 years.
Right on, man. I really appreciate that. Well, again, thank you again for your time. You can find this interview online, as well as a little lanyard for myself at thedocast.net. And as a bonus, you can ask Sean a question on the blog post of this episode, and he'll do his best to answer what he can.
And let's give one free case. We'll give one free Yellow Jacket case to a listener. You can decide how you want to do that, Richard, and our website, so everybody knows it's Yellow.
We'll just randomly pick one.
Yeah.
Everyone asks a question, and we'll just randomly pick a commenter on the post to get a free Yellow Jacket case. Up to what value? Like $130 value?
Yeah, it's $140 value.
Wow.
YellowJacketCase.com. Hit us up, and on Twitter, yellow_jacket.
Right on. So yeah, be sure to subscribe to iTunes, and please leave a 5-star review, or at thedocast.net. This is Richard and Sean signing out.
Later.
Do it big.